So Gwyneth, welcome to FrightFest. You are here with the aptly named Fright. It screened earlier this afternoon. What was the reaction to the screening?
I was so nervous at first. I was pretty much shaking the whole time. I guess because I wasn't sure, I don't know, how it was going to come across. I hadn't watched it before. It was my first experience seeing it, and especially in quite a big cinema with a lot of horror fans around. And I was shaking pretty much the whole time. But when I was like settling into it, it was like, okay, it's okay.
And what was the feeling from the audience?
I don't know, it was hard to tell. There was a lot of silence, so I don't really know at the time what people were thinking, but I've mostly heard positive things since coming out, which is good.
I mean, for a lot of this film, your character, she's on her own. How do you, as an actor, sort of go about preparing for that? Because often, so much of acting is reacting to somebody else.
Yeah, a lot of I had to do a lot of work in just essentially what I am thinking and what the environment is making me feel, especially with I've got to react to things that aren't really there, like when I'm hearing noises, maybe someone was clapping just to give me a cue and I had to kind of fill in the gap of that's the sound of a window shaking dramatically, and I have to kind of fill that in my head. So it's like my scene partner became the house, I suppose, and I had to kind of work that out myself. Yeah.
And what a scene partner to have. This house is, it's its own extra character, right?
Yeah, so fantastic. So, what's the word? Atmospheric. And it really definitely helped me get into the character and just getting into the headspace of Emily. Because just imagining being trapped in that house, it's not pleasant. It's old, it's cold, it's falling apart. Especially as we filmed it in October, it was cold, and I was just going around in my dressing gown, and every time we had to go to a take, it was like, okay, got to take it off now, and okay, go for it. But it just meant it filled my character with energy of being in that space and the coldness.
And obviously, period pieces, the costumes are always, so incredible. What was it like getting to wear, these clothings from another time?
Yeah, I love it. It's like costume can change so much of how you hold yourself and just how your character comes across, and it really does, just the way the fabric can fall sometimes. Maybe with the higher neckline, it's kind of it makes you stand up more tall. It kind of gives you a bit more of a flow, and it's great. It really, I love putting on a costume for a character. It just fills in a bit of a gap from my prep. It's great.
And I know that this was, is it your first feature? So I'm guessing now you've got the bug, and this is something that you want to continue doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually did another feature pretty much the day after I wrapped on Fright. I got cast in my next feature, which was a fantasy film. I played a wood elf, and we filmed that in December up in the northeast. So I went from Sussex filming Fright, and then a couple of months later I was up in the northeast filming this. Not sure when that's coming out. I think it's meant to come out this year. And I've got a read through for another feature film tomorrow, so heading up to Leeds for that. Don't know how much I can say about that one.
And for people that are interested in following what you do next, where can they find that information out on socials?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Both are Gwyneth Evans _ as my usernames.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
So Jill, welcome to FrightFest. You are here at the festival with the aptly named Fright. It had its screening earlier today. What was the audience reaction like?
Great, actually. Yes, it seemed to go down very well. I mean, it's a bit of a different movie. It's not out and out horror, blood, guts and gore, but it's more of a sort of psychological thriller in a way. It's all about what you don't see rather than what you do, in a way, the power of the imagination and the suspense. So I think people like that, and it's a very different genre. It's paying homage to the 1950s style of cinema, but set in the 1930s, so it's very stylised, black and white, very atmospheric. So it seemed to go down well, I think, yeah.
Yeah, because it's this almost sort of like Hitchcockian sort of throwback to a different era in horror. And I think as much as, there are all these modern films, sometimes it's nice to remember where the genre came from.
Really, yes, and I think it does that, and the soundtrack as well is in keeping with that style. say the fact that it's in this incredibly creepy house and with minimal lighting, but it just sets that whole feeling off really well, I think. All about the shadows and the candles and the creepy sound. So yeah, I think it works. Yeah.
And what was it about, this role of Emily's mother that sort of spoke to you and made you want to get involved?
So I seem to have found a bit of a niche in playing baddies. I don't know why. It must be my resting bitch face. So I do rather like the roles where, playing evil is just more fun than being nice, let's face it. But I liked this particular part because she seems awful. She's controlling and horrible, but there's a reason for that underneath, and that doesn't really become apparent until the end of the movie. But there's an underlying layer to her, I think, which I really like. And the script, of course, is very sort of crisp and very well spoken, as it was in that sort of era, and I liked the challenge of that sort of acting style. And being a theatre actor as a background, the way acting was back then, it was more theatrical than the sort of very naturalistic styles of today, so I quite like that sort of throwback to overacting.
Lovely. And what other projects have you got in the pipeline that you're allowed to talk about?
Do you know, I've not got a lot lined up at the moment. I've just come back from Edinburgh Fringe, literally overnight, where I've been involved in an immersive play there, which has been exhausting, and then I'm about to have 3 weeks away. So when I'm back, I will then be out there auditioning again and hoping to get something else. So maybe this will help.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your evening. Thank you. So, Warren, welcome to FrightFest. You are here with the aptly named Fright, which screened earlier today. What was your reaction?
Well, look, I think it went really well. The vibe in the room seemed good. I've done a few of these now, sort of film screenings, and you can often tell straight away how the feeling is, and I think it was good. Yeah, I had a few people chatting to me afterwards about how they'd enjoyed it. So yeah, really good, really positive, really, really happy, and relieved.
And we spoke in the lead up to the festival, and I know that you were quite nervous about the location, having some modern aspects, and you were a little nervy you might see anything. Did it pass? Did it pass your test?
Almost. There's one shot where we pan up, I shouldn't be saying this really, but where you can just see a modern fire extinguisher. But apart from that, we are fine. Yes, it was a triumph from the editors. It wasn't really me, it was the editors that took care of a lot of that. But yeah, it was great, and I think it looks like a period piece, and that's what we wanted, so really happy.
And what was the genesis of this idea? How did it all come together?
I had the idea about an agoraphobic who has a bereavement about 4 or 5 years ago, and but it didn't really work because of, she could call someone on her mobile, and then it kind of, I was watching The Innocents one night, and it kind of, I thought, I could do that. We could set it in the 30s, and that takes away a huge swathe of that pressure about contact. So, yeah, the idea came from watching The Innocents, and then I sat with my, script, and away we went. Really, the project grew from there.
Lovely. And was it purely the time period setting that made you decide to shoot in black and white?
I think black and white. I love it myself. I just thought it'd be really interesting. We looked at some test shots in colour, but I always had my heart set on shooting it in black and white. And once that film's in your head, it's hard to get it out. Once that idea of it being in black and white's in your head, it's kind of there really. So there it stayed.
And obviously, we're here at FrightFest. It's its 25th anniversary. What do you think it is that makes this festival so successful?
Oh, well, it's been amazing. I love the whole kind of community feel of it. It's just a massive group of friendly, lovely people, it seems, and we've loved it. We came up yesterday and went and saw a movie, and just everyone seems, it's an interesting thing with the horror community is that it's this group of lovely people make these crazy movies, and I've always found that, and that's, we've loved it. Really, really good.
And as a director and a writer, being here, has it sort of helped inspire you? Have you got any ideas for what you're going to do next?
I've got a few ideas. I think I'll stay in horror. I think I really, really enjoy that. But I'm kind of at that empty Word document stage at the moment, where a few ideas going around the head, so I'll come up with something. But pressure on now to kind of get this one pushed out and about and getting it seen, and then once that's happening, I can get on with the next thing.
And for those that weren't able to make it to the screening today, where should they be looking, on the internet for news of future screenings, releases, that sort of thing?
www.fright-movie.com is our website, and that's we do a lot of stuff on Facebook and Twitter, the usual places. So if you just search for Fright Movie, you'll find us, and then you can kind of catch up with us there.
Lovely. Well, I'm going to let you go and enjoy your evening. Thank you.